Okay, well, hello to everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think we have a global audience today, which is really nice. I'm David Price from OneWeb, and I want to provide a focused presentation to update you on where we are with our preparation for commercial service later this year. And we are truly building a global network. I have the beauty of going last on the presentations here, so you'll hear some repeat themes here, but it is very much a global network, delivering low latency and high speed connectivity to everywhere and everybody. And very much all these different systems, I think, can coexist because we're all having our areas where we focus our capabilities and our types of services. OneWeb at a glance, a little bit of an update. Some know we went through a little rocky period last year, but the good news is we're full steam ahead with a new team and new owners, the British government, Bharti Airtel as the two major investors, but also we have investment from SoftBank, a major mobile operator with a Japanese headquarters, and Hughes, who is as well an investor and one of our key technology partners. We have 110 satellites already in orbit. We have a launch in a few days' time on the 25th of March. So a team are already at the launch site to launch another 36 satellites. And we have that launch momentum now, and for the rest of the year, it's pretty much one launch a month in readiness of our initial commercial service launch, in November this year. We have a lot of momentum in place. To say we're doing a lot of testing. We have very much got a lot of interest from our customers, who will be our distribution partners. We are not going to the end user. We very much fit into an ecosystem in the different market verticals. And we're already in very mature relationships with those initial distribution partners where we're starting our initial service. We are very mature on our spectrum rights. We use Ka band on the feeder links between the gateways and the satellites, and then we use Ku band between the satellites and the user terminals. And we have a lot of priority on those rights, very mature position. We're already very much in service in terms of doing demos and end-to-end testing and exercising those initial satellites with end-to-end demonstrations and service and service testing. So we're very much already operational if you look at it that way. And show we can very much coexist with other systems. We're LEO orbit, 1,200 kilometers. We picked an orbit with a distance from Earth, which considers the coverage we provide from each satellite and the number of gateways we need to serve those satellites. And the way we're going to be selling our services, we could all talk about latency between satellites and the ground, but way we sell our services between the endpoints. So we offer very much an SLA on our service from our points of presence, where our distribution partners seamlessly interconnect to their networks and the user terminals and the satellite system enables. We're very keen on responsible space. We've done a lot in our design of our system and how we behave as a global operator to consider responsible space in terms of everything from the design of the satellites, the management systems, what we're going to do to deorbit satellites, etc. So it's very much part of our culture to consider that responsible space policies is very important. I think this slide has pretty much been covered, but one thing I will say that's very important is, in OneWeb as we're operating today, we're very much selling and managing our connectivity products like a telecommunications company. The way we've designed our interfaces and our products and the tools that we provide our technology partners very much looks at how they operate today. It's, you know, as I say, the Lego we have fits nicely into the set in terms of the interfaces, the way we are packaging those products, with that customer need in mind in the different markets they're operating in. So it's very much, we want to be very plug into people's broader networks in a very easy fashion. And we've even picked, a starting point of the LTE standard as our air interface, working with our technology partner Qualcomm and Hughes to make that even easier to fit into telco networks. And our points of presence use a standard Nokia core network. So it's what they're used to, and the interfaces really are what they can handle very easily. This little video that hopefully is running okay in the presentation here just shows some of the amazing stuff that OneWeb Satellites has done in terms of building the satellites in a very mass-produced way. OneWeb Satellites is a joint venture between Airbus and OneWeb, and the satellites are now all built in Florida. And we're building 2 satellites a day, 15 satellites a week in this very automated, very repeatable process in the factory. And we need that momentum to meet our needs of service launch later this year. So we typically launch either 36 or 34 satellites per launch, depending on the launch site. And as I say, on the 25th of this month is our next launch. We had the last launch in December, and there's another 36 satellites going up.
Hello? Okay, I see.
I don't know if the audio can be heard from this video, but this just little video shows of the type of work we're doing in terms of doing customer demonstrations. This was demonstrating in Florida a few weeks ago with our existing satellites in orbit, where we were demonstrating for some US government business partners and end users, and showing all the attributes that we want to show in terms of how the system is working, how the user terminals are installed, how they operate, and how the satellite handovers and the beam handovers perform, and the user experience. And we did a Zoom session, we did some application testing, and we're doing these tests all the time. So it's very much part of our getting ready for commercial service. We also, clearly, as well as launching satellites, need to roll out gateways. And when we start our commercial service launch in November, which is a geographically fenced coverage area, 50 degrees north, and we're going to be starting services in Alaska, Canada, Scandinavia, the UK, and the polar regions. We're going to have 8 gateways to service that coverage area, and those gateways are in their final preparation, final testing. So we've made a lot of progress there in rolling out those gateways and and exercising those systems ready for our service launch.
Dave, can I ask you to be brief, please?
Yes. This chart really covers what I've already said, just a few snapshots there. Our full constellation will be typically 650 satellites. That includes the in-orbit spares. We have 12 planes which are slightly inclined from the polar orbit with 49 active satellites per plane, plus there'll be additional satellites as backup satellites. And obviously over time, we will launch more satellites into those planes and retire satellites from those planes. It's very much how we operate, and we've already exercised a lot of things with the 110 satellites in orbit today to show how we can do some of those activities in terms of moving satellites between planes, rephasing the planes. It's all getting fully tested, so we're demonstrating all those capabilities and mitigating all those risks. In terms of the markets, we clearly have a range of different markets we're serving with a range of different user terminals, which will evolve over time. And we're starting in the fixed site, as I say, enterprise and telco market, and later, starting next year, and we're going to roll out our mobility products, both maritime and aeronautical. So, and that's as we finish the development of those terminals and roll out the gateways to provide and launch the satellites to provide the global coverage. A number of different user terminal types, whether for aeronautical or for fixed or mobility, working with some good technology partners there. We just with Intellian's our first technology partner for the initial fixed site terminals and the maritime terminals. We had a press release, or we just launched a partnership where we're working with Satisfy and on an aeronautical terminal development. But we're going to have other technology partners in the mix, and we're going to have other types of technology in the mix as we move from we use mechanically steered antennas for their high performance in terms of aperture efficiency, etc. And we're also working on electronically steered arrays for their form factor and ease of installation, but recognizing that there is a cost versus performance curve there that has to be right. One thing that's very important for OneWeb is how we engage with our customers, and that's where we're doing a lot of effort, not just on the infrastructure platform, but on the way we are selling service and the way we are engaging with our distribution partners and their end users. So we want to make it easy to do business with us, easy for that whole ecosystem to work in terms of the applications, to order products, commission terminals, measure traffic, collect money from customers. So we have got a very, very, very capable and very mature set of digital products we're enabling with the interfaces into those business partners management systems, and we are very much testing that ready for commercial service with those business partners. And it's all about understanding the requirements of the end user. So we've done a lot of work to tailor our products so that they meet the needs of the different markets, whether it's enterprise, whether it's mobile backhaul, fitting into that that mobile operator's infrastructure in a seamless way. They understand a Nokia core network. They understand the LTE service, quality of service classes. So our products fit very nicely straight into their networks as if they were using terrestrial only solutions. They really fit very nicely. And it has to be easy to operate, has to have the right skill set in the field to commission stuff. So we've done a lot of work on how the terminals are going to be commissioned into the system, how long it takes to roll out the service, how flexible the service is, and we have that global reach, so we can offer a very similar service anywhere in the world. As I've covered the timeline a little bit, but as I say, we are in a very, very important year for us this year, where we are finishing those satellite launches and finishing off our end-to-end testing, ready for our initial commercial service launch in November this year. And we have the customers ready, the distribution partners ready in those regions, and Canada, a key market for us, Alaska, Scandinavia, the polar regions, where a lot's happening now for oil and gas and other activities. And launching at the time of COVID, this is my last slide. We did a launch in December. If you read, you could almost do a movie on the logistics involved in getting the satellites from Florida to the east of Siberia, the rockets from via train to Siberia from other parts of Russia where they're manufactured, and the people to support the launch. And it was we did it. We pulled it off. The satellites are all in their orbit raising now, and we're going to do the same at the end of this month. The team have already been through quarantine. The satellites are at the launch site. If you look at our website or our feeds on, on LinkedIn, etc., you'll see we're going to do that again, and we're going to do that every month this year, pretty much, and to the end of the year, and then into next year. So we've got it down to a very much repeatable exercise, and I look forward. I welcome you to all to watch the launch on the 25th of March, and that's just what we're all going to be looking forward to, a rocket going up very nicely, the Solis rocket. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. So we've got a first question from Mr. Anonymous.
Okay. Probably works for for SpaceX.
Yeah. SpaceX again.
Can you disclose of the 110 satellites are all operational?
Yes, they are all operational. I mean, they're not all into their final orbits. I mean, when I was showing the video earlier, we have satellites in three different orbital planes. We had the first 6 satellites that we called was like the prototypes we launched originally, are in their own unique plane. And then we have the other satellites in the 2 other planes, or the last 36 satellites on the way to those planes, because we use electronic orbit propulsion for orbit raising. So the satellites take a while from the launch, initial launch, to get into that final orbital plane. And so 36 of those 110 satellites are on the way there. But I know that every day, because my team are doing it, we're using at least 60 satellites for end-to-end testing.
Another question from David Garud. What is the air interface?
Yeah, I mean, the air interface is a modification of what is the LTE air interface. If you look at, we're using Qualcomm chips in the user terminal, which are the same chips that go into a mobile phone. They're used with different software to deal with the satellite environment with its different dynamic elements. And so we use an STTNA access scheme on the return link, on the forward link, and on the return link we use an FDMA, but it's based on the LTE air interface, and we did that just because the whole network, in terms of the components of it, right from the core network to the user terminal, and the classes of traffic and the encryption fit right into that telco infrastructure in a very nice manner, because that's where we started, and we get advantages of the cost of those Qualcomm chips and other advantages in the management tools of the system for it to be scalable, just like rolling out a terrestrial network using terrestrial infrastructure.
Okay, I think we'll close your session here so that we can stay reasonably on time.